Welcome back to The Last of Us Remastered,
Things could be going better.
part 25.
They were having a moment and then they got attacked.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're back in the present.
Admittedly, that's what happens when you play music loud in a zombie-infested apocalypse. You're probably gonna kind of have some dead, tired company.
You're gonna draw attention.
Surprising, just imagine the music like they imagine the arcade game.
I know,
Okay,
right?
so now, so now that we finally got ourselves a first aid kit, time to go back to Joel.
Provided Joel hasn't died already.
Oh, we don't know yet.
He's Wolverine, okay? He can
He's a
survive.
Well, actually, we do know, but
It's a tough one. Hillman.
Yeah, he looks like he's Logan. I'm sure he'll be all.
He's got that
Oh,
healing
wait, no.
factor until it
Oh no,
runs
I
out.
actually no, Joe. Remembering Logan, his healing factor was faulty in that movie.
Well, of course, I'm guessing that's because of the events of the Wolverine.
No.
Oh, wait, no,
Logan.
that got retconned.
Even so, sometimes
Remember,
it
Logan's
becomes...
its own standalone thing.
Really? I'm pretty sure it's a sequel to the continuity.
It's part of the continuity, but you can watch it as a standalone. Get lost.
Oh, I get that. I was just assuming that, the reason his healing factor is salty in that movie is because of events in the Wolverine. Mind you, I have not yet seen Logan.
Even so, sometimes a writer, sometimes for the sake of storytelling, sometimes it's okay for a writer to break a rule here and there. I mean,
yes, it is, Jova.
Like, and by rule I mean like the rules of how something works in the real world, because this is
okay.
we're telling a story here, not a documentary about medicine.
Well, okay, guys, I have no complaints with them breaking the rules of reality in a story involving superpowered racists.
Superpower.
That's literally what X-Men is, Roy. Superpower racism.
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about that movie was all the people that were complaining that the X-Men films aren't like the comics. Well, bam, there's a comic book in the movie. You can't get much more literal than that.
Well, I am hoping that with Disney buying them, they will finally get Wolverine in that yellow outfit.
Well, at least in the continuity we have at the moment, it makes sense why they wouldn't have him do that, because it would just look silly.
And before you say it, Pedro, no, that does not ruin the X-Men continuity for me. It's just something people like me would really like to see.
Besides, Trevor, we've seen plenty of comic book movies that have to have accurate costumes but be garbage.
Which ones?
We've had Iron Man 2, we've had For the Dark World, we've
Well,
had countless others.
Okay. Just gonna say this right now. If sequels don't... Okay, bad sequels don't count because the originals still got it right, so... Yeah, the costumes being accurate don't have much to do with the movies
the
being
1990
garbage.
Captain America, there's one for you. Anyway, go on, Pedro.
The primary reason is just to go back to what I said is because my big problem with people like, say, Noah Antweiler or
Oh,
someone,
Spoonie.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I like Adam's reviews, YMS.
Coming to get you,
But
Joel.
he's also suffers from that like too much nitpicky syndrome.
Every
Because
reviewer suffers from it.
my problem with the whole idea, and usually their defense of that stance is that a movie should strive to be as flawless as it can be, even in those little details and stuff like that. For me, it's like this. The problem with that, there's a caveat to that. The time that the time that the writer spends on just reviewing his script and hunting for plot holes, that's time that could be better spent in trying to make the actual story better.
Admittedly, though, like some people have said, though, there is also the other point. I mean, yeah, being vague or having some plot holes here and there is fine, but when it feels like you should be credited as a writer yourself to the point where you have to fill in the gaps, that's an issue there. So again,
No, I agree with that. It's just that I don't.
I love these film posters.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know.
By the way, in different adaptations, some things need to be changed to fit the kind of adaptation you're doing.
Absolutely.
Things can't always be translated correctly, so they have to be removed.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now,
mind. It's not like the in terms of costumes, it's not like the MCU's immune to that criticism. Captain Marvel's outfit's the wrong color.
Wait, Captain Marvel? Wait. When have we seen anything about Captain Marvel?
That sounds like the criticism of the
We've seen
generation.
screenshots. We know the actress. Basically, everything checks out. It's just the outfit that's a different color. But
Which outfit even? She's had so many different outfits in the comics anyway.
all the more reason why people shouldn't care.
And heck, if anything, Captain Marvel, that's a character I am okay with them changing because she sucks in the comics.
Well, practically everybody in the comics sucks nowadays.
No, hold on. There's that AU version of Peter Parker, Mary Jane, and their daughter.
How long ago was that?
Hello, sir. What are you doing in event? Oh my god, guys. I think we found Solid Snake's remains.
If you want your answer, listen, Jova.
Surviving member of my crew.
You know, looking
Reagan.
back.
Reagan, what did you expect me to do? I was bitten, and it was only a matter of time before she killed me. Even though I wasn't infected. She said she wasn't going to. But I could see through her eyes. Why else would she reach for her gun? Why the fuck did she reach for her gun? I was just talking to her. If she wasn't lying, I wouldn't have to hit. She would have shot me. I'm sure of it. Then why'd she keep you alive all this time, Alice? Huh? It doesn't matter. I shot her. I ran away. I fought and escaped those fucking things, and in the process, the sutures on my goddamn stump ripped open. I'm bleeding to death, and I can't sew it back up. Not with one arm. I can't make the fucking knot.
So he got partially eaten?
Wow, his death was so painful, even the subtitles can't keep up.
I know, right? He never woke up, did he?
He just decided to rest and he never woke up.
Well, hey, it's probably a better death than dying a zombie.
Mm-hmm. Well, you explode at the end of the cycle, apparently, so yeah, he probably died with a bit more dignity than everyone else did.
And yet he died in an air duct.
Don't, Shiori, Shiori,
Yeah.
never tell that to Dr. House. Dying with dignity.
Yeah, to be fair, Dwebs, in this, but it's a different context than the one House was mentioning. Basically, to give context to Joe, because he hasn't seen it. Basically, Joe, but there's an episode of House where they're trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with the patient, but they're not really succeeding. Really tricky. And it gets to a point where the patient has it and decides she doesn't want any more treatment because she's tired and she just wants to die in peace. And then Dr. House comes to her room and stuff, and literally comes to her and say, "So what exactly do you want?" And she's like, I just want to die with dignity." And that's where House says, "There's no such thing. Our bodies eventually all die out. Sometimes when we're 7, sometimes when we're 70. But it's always ugly, always. And there's nothing dignifying about that. You can live with dignity. You can't die with it." So in this particular context, it does. He's right.
It's a different context.
It's a different context.
He even references it in a season 8 episode, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Jova, in this particular House context? Would you say you agree with House on this one?
Depends. Sometimes cremation can get it all done lickety-split so you don't have to go for the decaying.
Oh.
Also,
Don't worry, I heard him.
Also, I think that hunter got bit and is now a runner. Am I right, Pedro? Pedro?
I think we've lost Pedro, guys.
Yeah, so it was him who was having the problem, not
So,
Jova.
we
It's
lost
actually
Pedro
Jova
to the
just fine.
clickers.
He's
Yeah,
been taken
sorry,
by the
guys.
zombies.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure
So, yeah,
he'll be back.
don't worry, guys. Jova will take over the time being.
Pedro?
Fucking this.
Are you sure that doesn't have to do with the power outage you had earlier?
No. No. My house's power is fine, right?
You sure it wasn't an
Discord being
aftershock?
its shitty self.
Are you sure it wasn't an
Could you?
aftershock?
I'm sorry, Job. You're gonna have to repeat that.
Oh boy, I'm. Are you sure it's not your connection?
Oh fucking hell! Seriously?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, Pedro, it's you.
No,
Yeah.
it's not too. No, I know it's me. Don't worry. It's just.
I'm pretty sure this one's a connection thing as opposed to Discord. Again, this is sort of a thing when doing with power outages. Sometimes there's aftershocks in the connections. Oh, good, you could hear me that time.
The last
Yeah,
time there
okay.
was a power outage in the house, my mum lit like 50 tea lights.
Really?
Yeah, she was walking around the house with the tea light.
That must have been wonderful.
Anyway, could you repeat yourself, Jova? Sorry.
About the power outage stuff or what I
About
was saying.
house. About house.
About how's it stands on that particular context for you can live with dignity, you can't die with it.
Was it in context referring to what happens to your body after you die, or
No. Again, fine. I'll repeat it.
You don't need to repeat the whole thing. Just sum up the context to me. Is it like, well, okay, the way you go?
The patient is tired of the doctors turning around in circles and not finding a cure, so she decides to give up and she asks for to not be treated anymore. And she claims that she wants to die. She just wants to, at the very least, die in peace. And then House comes to her because he's determined to figure things out, and she basically breaks out to him. I just want to die with dignity, okay? And that's where he literally goes, there's no such thing. Our bodies eventually all die out. Sometimes when we're 7, sometimes when we're 70. But it's always ugly. Always. I don't care if you can wipe your own ass or if you can eat. It's always ugly. You can live with dignity. You can't die with.
And that gives her the will to live, don't it?
She reluctantly accepts the proposal.
And does she eventually get cured?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, I guess my stance is like, well, it literally depends on your point of view here. They're like, well, it depends on what you consider going out with dignity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for her, it may seem less painful. That doesn't always mean the most dignified.
Yeah.
Okay.
So back to
So yeah, again, I'm
back to
guessing.
Ellie trying to survive the
So again, am I right, Pedro, that hunter that got bit earlier is now? Can that actually happen in the game? You know, someone who can get bitten and then become a runner.
In the middle of the game, no.
Really, I could have sworn I saw that happen. Oh, well.
At the best you'll see is sometimes someone who's already dead and they're being eaten by the zombie, like we saw at the beginning, for example. Oh.
Wonder if the zombie people, the people that the army,
Who are these
the
fuckers?
hunters will wake up as zombies.
No.
Probably.
You know, if I were playing this game, after I've taken care of the threat of the zombies alive, I'll just shoot the zombie guys in the head before they have a chance to come back alive as zombies.
One thing I do like about Zombie U, I'll admit,
Need a way around.
about how yes,
Anyway, what you guys earlier saw, of course, was me trying my best to sniff out the guys. And actually, I think it's never mind. I think it's now that I do. Yeah, I think it's basically when you get to this point in the game, this particular section right here, I recommend doing your best to sniff out the zombies. Why? You'll see. Because something will actually happen.
Sniff out? Don't you mean smoke them out?
No, you'll see.
Sorry.
Basically,
I have a weird habit of hiccuping in reverse.
Oh, that was a hiccup?
I don't know what else it could be.
It sounded like you were surprised by something. Like you're doing
No,
like
no,
you
no.
said, it's like a reverse hick.
Yo, that's my special talent, being able to hiccup in reverse. You know what this would make
What was that?
this kind of environment.
What?
Doesn't make a really good tourist attraction. It'd be like that. It'd be like
Oh.
London Dungeons,
Uh-oh.
but
Yeah.
zombies.
Notice those humans who just came in. throw a bottle, and that will alert the zombies to their presence.
So you're pulling a Bioshock.
So we've just sentenced them to their deaths.
Yeah.
Well, they're hunters, and like Ellie just said, kill each other.
Cool. So like I said, you pulled a
Now,
Bioshock. That's nice.
now we can just rest on our laurels as they all kill each other.
Anytime now, guys.
I mean, could you imagine what a what this kind of thing would be like as a tourist attraction, like at a theme park?
I can imagine this being for a good indoor ride. One of those
There's
ones.
actually some countries. It's kind of on topic considering the premise. Some countries and their cities, they hold sort of like these events where they get people, they dress them up in professional makeup and such, and they essentially play a game that is basically a zombie apocalypse, and you need to see how long you can survive in that environment. They'll use specific parts of the city to hold this event. I've never been to one, but I would like to because it sounds fun.
Yeah, me too.
There we go.
Ellie, where are you?
How do you know my name?
Because we heard your partner shout it
Well,
over the radio
okay,
about
doesn't matter anymore.
of our dead bodies. Blech.
Yeah, and now you know the legends, Bob.
She's
All
left
right.
them for zombie food.
Looks like there's nobody else.
I thought I saw someone.
I don't know. If Ride to Hell Retribution has told me anything, sometimes that can be just a game trying to fool you. And again, the game is Ride to Hell Retribution.
Yeah, that's not really. People usually try to
Made by
forget that game even-
a British developer. Which British developer, Dwibs?
Sorry?
Which British developer was it that made Ride to Hell Retribution?
Technics, a lot based in Newcastle upon Time.
Don't. I think he saw us.
Jova, even Traveller's Tales is worst game. Rascal is better than Technic's best game.
What is their best game?
Apparently they're one of their NASCAR games.
Oh.
They also made the Pimp My Ride game.
I forgot that had a game.
It's like a random choice of developer, though. Who should we give the Pimp My Ride game to? I know, some lot from Newcastle.
Well,
Probably.
at least
For
these
some reason,
zombies.
I think Rockstar would do a good job making that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, Ride to Hell Retribution, for all intents and purposes, would probably been best handled by Rockstar.
Yeah, Rockstar. Yeah, the people at Rockstar North in Edinburgh would have a field day with that.
Well, yeah. Those the kind of games that try to go for the whole, Tarantino-esque raunchiness. The Rockstar has pretty much made an art form out of making games that exhibit.
Not
those
so much
traits.
the raunchiness, but also the form of open world gameplay stuff, too.
Oh no, of course. Rockstar are the masters of open world sandboxes. That's not even. They've been doing it. It started with GTA 3. So they have so much experience at this point. Back into.
They've honed their craft, essentially.
Yeah. Like I said, GTA 5 to me is the best open world sandbox game ever made, if you ask.
Well, it's only toppled by Just Cause 2 in regards to how big it is.
Well, I haven't played that one, so I won't.
Welcome to home.
Oh, you mean big? Well, bigger doesn't necessarily mean better.
Not only that,
Sure.
but also the amount of vehicles you can use.
If they did a little bit of localization, they probably would have changed home theater to home cinema.
Well, we sometimes call our theater cinema, too.
From what I can tell, I've seen trailers. My guess is theater is what they use for American adverts, and cinemas used for British ones.
We use
Well,
a bit of
here,
both.
theatre is usually just, referred to for the theatre, so,
Yeah.
like the stage. There. That's it.
All right.
I'm still alive.
You'll be dead soon enough.
You'll be dead eventually.
Could you imagine, Pedro, if it turns out after all that stabbing, the victims are still alive and they run up and try and kill you?
You'd be surprised. There are some people who are just impervious.
Oh, well, wow, that poster there looks like they tried to do a remake of the Magnificent Seven, but lost 2 of the cast members.
Really? That looks like a bit of the cast from Law and Order, but with guns.
Which Law and Order?
Our Law and Order. American Law and Order.
Yeah, I was gonna say if it were ours, well, if it were ours, they dress in more some of them would dress up in more fancier robes.
Anyway, this is yet another case where we're gonna need your audio, Jova, by the way.
Yep. Power outages are a bitch, aren't they?
Tell me about it.
So while there's a bit of a lull going on, you know what I've been doing recently?
What?
Actually,
Recently,
Lives, mind if I, for a change, tell what I've been doing recently? Because I don't
Don't
usually
worry,
get to do that.
Oh,
Don't
well,
worry.
you never asked. Go right ahead, Pedro. Tell us your life
don't-
story.
Don't worry, Pedro, I'll be brief.
Ouch.
Sorry, Pedro, you don't get to speak.
I've been cooking stuff recently.
Oh no. Gee, Pedro, he's brought up a new recipe.
Yeah.
Because you're the
Anyway,
Okay.
your story, Pedro?
Cakes and that. Anyway, go on.
Oh, okay, my story. Well, let's say it all started back in January 2nd, 1986. It was a cold winter's night. Oh,
And
wait,
you were
maybe-
born.
You guys would probably want me to skip a bit ahead, right?
No. I'm actually interested to hear this part. Please, start from the beginning and do leave nothing out.
Unfortunately, I have to skip over because I wasn't around to be
Does
present
it mean
for that part.
1987?
I said 1987.
I thought you said 86. Anyway, go on.
Well, technically, Dwibs, it was January 2nd, so I was literally, we were literally fresh out of 1886. We were only 2 days in 87.
Baby-wise?
Go
No,
on.
I mean, what I mean, Joe, is I was born in January 2nd, 2 days into the year, so
Nice.
it would be easy to mistake.
Okay.
Like, hell, if you round it up, like if you round it up, for all intents and purposes, it was 86.
Just count your blessings that you weren't born in leap year. That's always a pain. Go on.
Anyway, guess what I did? I finally finished the third race of the Speed Star quest in Automata.
Oh,
Oh.
Basically, the trick is be sure to equip a lot of evade range up chips, the moving speed up chips, and of course use a speed cell.
okie dokie.
That's the one use I found for that thing. Because
Yeah.
most of those enhancement items, to me, I find them to be completely useless. They're like, I mean, to give you an idea, Jova, there's various items that are the solves. They enhance your stat, except they do it for only like 30 or 15 seconds. Like, for example, there would be this one where it raises up your speed of movement for 30 seconds. Aside from that one mission where you have to do a race to the finish, that item is, for all intents and purposes, useless.
Really?
I mean, because that game is not really a game that requires a lot of sprinting. So, anyway, back to this game. Okay, so yeah, the big problem is that they are trying to get to Joel so they can kill him. So we have to try our best to...
Because of vengeance.
Yeah. So we have to try our best to distract them and see if they can get to us, and of course we have to kill them. Where are you? Oh, there they are. There's 2 to my right.
Just hope there's
Okay.
not one under 6.
Let's try and headshot him with our...
We have to do it very quietly, though.
Let's see.
Good job, we don't have anything that can make a lot of noise.
Oh, and the guy decided to start running. God
Yeah.
damn it.
I guess Shiroi scared him away. Good job, Shiroi.
Yeah.
Shiro, did you do the zombie call of stuff and that scared them away?
Probably.
What was that sound?
It sounded
It's
like...
okay. It's okay, dude. They always count this as a silencer.
Random, but alright.
And then he gets up to show he's truly alive.
Yeah,
Like,
surprise!
He grabs you by the ankle when you walk past.
Yeah.
I've got a metal plate in my head, bitch. I'm still alive.
The back.
Okay. There we go. That guy almost saw me, but I killed him before he could say anything.
Yeah. Oh, God. Like that.
Yeah. Alright, now this guy.
Where
Come
is
on.
she? I'll find her. My name ain't me.
Your name's about to be Mud.
My name's Hoodie, not Mud.
That's what you
Wait. Where did that come from?
Your executioner. Let me try that again. Never mind. Got it.
That'd be a bit of a lame movie, I think.
I'm sorry,
Like
I'm a terrible shot.
It's like that scene in Blade. It's like that bit in Blade Trinity where
They have a
Where-
blind girl on guard duty.
not just that, but there's a bit where the archer has to aim the bullet filled with the serum that will kill Dracula and all the vampires. She misses because Dracula catches the arrow, but then she fires again and it hits him, and Dracula didn't see it coming for some reason. Well, again, what do you expect from a guy who is a mediocre writer at best, but a terrible director?
Wait, Chris Ayer wasn't involved with that one, though.
What about David Goyer?
He's often a better writer, though.
True, yeah.
What happened with Blade Trinity then?
He tried to be a director, too.
He sucks as a writer as well anyway, so it's not like...
No. As a writer, he often does better.
Well, we can all agree.
Man of Steel and BVS would have...
Well, BVS seems to be more
can-
Chris
we
Ayer's
can agree
fault,
he's-
since apparently, as Dwibs has told me, Justice League follows issues, and David Goyer wasn't there.
Well, we can all agree at least that David Goyer is a shit director.
Yes.
Well, he single-handedly wrote Man of Steel, though, and that movie...
Wait, hold on. No one was involved, though, with that one.
No one only
No one
co-wrote
wrote the
the
story.
story.
Yeah, no one
Oh
wrote the
my!
story. Yes,
You
but
stabbed him in the butt.
But I was talking in terms of script.
Well, again,
The actual script with the dialogue in it.
I'm gonna be quite honest. The story was the more bigger issue for me than the dialogue. I mean,
Well,
the dialogue
wasn't
was
that great
nothing.
either.
The dialogue was nothing Oscar-worthy, but it was far from the worst problem.
Honestly, the most fun I had with Man of Steel was when Michael Shannon kept yelling at random.
I get the
Yeah.
feeling that after
Same.
Dark Knight, Nolan kind of got a bit too big for his britches with superhero movies, and it shows also in stuff like Dark Knight Rises. Like,
Which is why which I think is now partly why he's mostly making stuff like Dunkirk.
it's kind of
Basically-
sad because it used to be that people were gone.
It's actually a fairly easy thing to explain, Jova. Because if you go back and watch the special, I actually have the Blu-rays and I saw the special features.
Oh yeah, Dwibs told me about how he actually had his brother to help co-write with Dark Knight.
Well, yeah. Jonathan Nolan also co-wrote Dark Knight, the original, the first. Sorry, Jonathan Nolan did co-write Dark Knight Rises, but he also co-wrote the Dark Knight. So Jonathan and Chris always usually work together. That's not at all uncommon.
Because they're brothers. Anyway, go on, Pedro. What are you saying about the special features?
Jonathan Nolan even created the Person of Interest in recently Westworld.
So you were saying?
What I was saying was because it was actually David Goyer who originally pitched the idea of Man of Steel to him. Chris, of course, to help him develop the story a bit further, but and of course they later got Snyder on it and shit. Who also did his own personal touches. For example, he was the one who came up with the suit for Superman. Basically, it's one. And couple that with the fact that it's one of those cases where you can tell that after Dark Knight, he was a bit burned out and wanted to move on from Batman. The problem is that in order to get Inception made and for Warner Brothers to approve the budget he wanted,
Which was big.
he was forced to do one more, but we'll only fund Inception if you make us another Batman film. So it's yet another one of those cases where a filmmaker is forced to do a studio's bidding for the sake of pursuing his visions.
I wonder what was.
in
I
Hollywood.
wonder what was. I wonder what the case. I wonder what the case for Interstellar was that had another. That had another film studio behind it.
With Interstellar, it was different whips. Like depending on who you ask, like it's one of those cases where you can consider it either a misstep on part of him, or if you're like me, I find it still a very good movie, just with some problem.
Anyway,
But
to be
anyway,
fair, when
it depends on the person, basically.
when it comes,
But in your case, I'm guessing you would consider it a misstep. But at the very least, it was something that he was actually.
From what I've heard, that was originally going to be directed by Spielberg or someone.
Dunkirk, however, that's definitely his best movie since The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
No, I like Dunkirk too.
Dunkirk is actually a passion project of his because being British, obviously he has a huge appreciation for what happened in the Dunkirk incident. So he always wanted to make a movie depicting that as realistically and as believable as possible. And if I'm honest to myself, I think he did a bang-up good job of it.
Yeah, when it comes to Dark Knight Rises, we also have to remember also that he originally did have a third sequel in mind. Of course, that was involving the Joker.
A certain someone died, and that kind of threw a wrench in the works, sadly.
I will say this though. Okay. I get that his heart may not have been in Dark Knight Rises, but even still, the choices he made for Dark Knight Rises are just stupid. Like, really stupid. Like, okay.
It's such a tragic. Like, I mean, obviously every death is tragic, but in terms of Hollywood deaths, Heath Ledger stands as one of the most tragic ones for me because there was so much potential more to be drawn from Heath Ledger's Joker. It's such a shame we could never properly realize it.
And it becomes abundantly clear that a lot of the script for Dark Knight Rises is still using that script except instead of Joker doing stuff, it's Bane's doing stuff, and then, hey, let's bring back the League of Shadows even though we were done with them. Hey, let's at the last minute have Talia be revealed. Hey, let's have Catwoman without really any of her redeeming qualities. I'll be quite honest, I find her detestable in that movie. Hey, let's have Alfred try and use Rachel as a bargaining chip against Bruce and...
Sorry, Jennifer, I gotta interrupt you there. Those
snap.
looks were so dumb. They were standing right in front of you, and it
Why would you...
like,
That's like bringing a knife to a gunfight, you idiots. Oh. And you wonder why you're getting beaten by a teen girl.
14.
If they can't get through a little girl, how are they supposed to get through?
Also, who's infected? They just yelled.
Some infected showed up. Basically.
Oh, well. Oh, wait, some guy said that he was infected.
Considering the gunshots, obviously the clickers were drawn in by the noise.
I don't know. Maybe the zombies got smart enough to remember to use their guns. As Resident Evil 3 showed, zombies can be pretty crafty. To the point where they can even use missiles. And open doors, Scourging Nemesis. And oh, snap! So...
This is actually one of those cases where it's always a good idea to try to get away and see if the clickers can just do your job for you.
Yeah.
So try your best to do that. In the meantime, we need medical care because, as we all know, patching our own arm with a bandage automatically heals gunshot. That's science, right?
It's a video game.
Well, then again, Shiroi, considering that's at the very least still better than the way Resident Evil 7 does it, where you can literally
you can heal an appendage that's been cut off with alcohol.
And you don't even pour the alcohol into the wound itself. You just pour it in your hand or arm or whatever you want to call it. Like pouring alcohol in your arm somehow heals you getting attacked by a chainsaw. Don't ask me how that works. There we go. Oh, 6 bullets.
Huh.
Thank you.
Maybe I was right. Maybe the hunters do get infected, and maybe that was the guy who shouted he was infected. So what, does brain activity die upon getting bit or something? Oh wait, no, it doesn't always, because sometimes it takes a while.
No, technically their brains are still working. It's just that they're completely mindless. Like like they lose pretty much all form of rational thinking. Basically, they become like David Cage. Zing.
Ooh.
Ouch.
But
Damn.
But-
Sick burn, Pedro.
anyway, I will give Goyer this.
Hey, remember, Dwebs, this is the guy who calls anyone who questions him an uncultured swine.
Wait,
he
he
doesn't
actually
actually
did
say
that?
those words, but the way he condescends to people.
True.
Like you can tell he's just, you know, like, because again it goes back to that interview that I showed you guys, like
The one that Troy Baker had a field day with.
No. Basically, Joe, but there was an Basically, Joe, to give you an idea. I actually don't think I told you about this one. Basically, he was asked about the parental abuse thing from Detroit.
Oh, he actually tried to address the issues
And
people
he
had
asked,
with him
so
portraying
basically,
it.
yeah, the interviewer at Eurogamer asked him, why are you going for this topic specifically, since it's a very touchy subject that might make some people uncomfortable.
Not only that, but I honestly don't think he's portraying it the best, but go on.
That's putting it mildly.
Oh my god, that person fell onto an invisible bed for a bit and then eventually touched down.
But
well.
yeah.
Beautiful. Anyway, go on.
Like, and he immediately, right after he asks that, Jova, he goes into super defensive mode.
Oh boy, what did he say?
He literally goes, "Let me ask you, would you ask that question to a filmmaker?"
Yes! Yes, we would, if there's no purpose to that in the movie.
And then he immediately starts saying, like, I'm not doing this just to be controversial. I'm just saying it because it's a story I want to tell. I want to tell something with emotions and moving and meaningful.
Hey,
he
I'm-
almost,
Let me finish. And he literally says that in that quote. He literally says, "Oh, and I don't want to make something gratuitous or violent." Jova, remind me again what happens at the first chapter of Madison in Heavy Rain.
Yeah, she can get mutilated.
Not just that, but we're forced to have her take a shower naked, with full-blown cleavage, as Shirai put it. in the
Well, to be
playbook.
fair, that's technically not
Alright,
violence.
anyway, story now.
To be fair, that's technically not violence, I guess, but even still.
Yeah, you better be alive, Jewel.
Yeah, I
after all
know.
that.
If you're dead, I'm gonna kill you.
Alright, but before we conclude the outcome of that, let's conclude this outcome.
This way.
Yeah, that'll hold him.
Also love the ironic music.
What about our backpacks? Fuck the backpacks.
Mood dissonance of the chest.
Basically, the rides of the carnival were activated as a result. We're ringing from zombies with this music.
All right.
We're in a Marvel movie.
Oh god.
Well, hey, if it's Guardians of the Galaxy, it works in context.
Well, I should say MCU specifically.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't hate the MCU. I just think it's got a lot of issues.
Fair enough. Okay, maybe this will keep the zombies at bay. Or maybe not.
Let's move.
Maybe if they all try and squeeze through that hole, they'll get stuck eventually.
Through here.
If only they would. Excuse me.
How am I friend?
Jinx. Well, beasts you really are like us saying stuff at the same time now.
You know, it really just figures that these zombies, that the only thing these zombies won't eat are zombies as well.
Bound to be big.
Wow.
Well, she was raised. She was raised to fight. So.
Really? I thought Ellie was sheltered up to this point.
All right. Come on.
Well,
Up the
not
stairs.
really. I mean, in this world, you kind of have to be raised to fight if you're gonna survive.
Infected. Oh, they're behind us too. This way.
Cornered like rats.
How old is she in this flashback again?
They're getting closer.
Still 14. This is only like a couple months. This is only a couple months before.
Really?
Okay, well, if she's only 14, then she's probably, like, most of her life was probably spent in this kind of environment, so... Yeah, she knows her shit.
Thank goodness those zombies can't jump across wide distances.
You don't get to have a quiet life in this world.
Nope.
Unless you're rich, I'm
No matter who
guessing.
you are. No, I don't think even the rich can escape this, honestly.
What rich? I mean, what would a rich person do with all of their money? Oh,
Hey, you don't always have to be rich in money.
I guess.
And Ellie died.
No, she can't die, Joyce, because that would create a time paradox.
Well, hey, well, actually, that was that. Well, if I wrote this game, then that would happen.
And transition into cutscene.
But yeah, I think
Well, I'm pretty sure there's more zombies where that came from, so maybe we should get going.
Ellie. Ellie, your arm.
And there you go.
That's how that happened.
That's how she got bitten in the first place.
No, 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 no.
Yes, she got bit too.
And Guz's music comes in.
Well-
All right, so and now
So
Joel.
my guess is that Riley died.
Well, obviously.
As Dwibs
Don't worry.
predicted.
I've done this before.
well, it's a prequel.
Yeah, oh, that's another one. I've done this
Kind of an
before.
expert.
Kind of an expert.
Ish.
Ish.
I kind of know what I'm doing.
So yeah, now she has to literally saw him up.
Wow, her hands are probably freezing from the cold.
Well, Joel, we don't really have any much choice, maybe.
Ah! That was an interesting
That's
transition.
it. Let it all out.
Let it all out. Might as well. I really love this
More
ending
stuff
here
over
because
there,
this is where they fully tie the two storylines together in a very poignant way.
What are we gonna do? The way I see it, we got two options.
Make up or make out?
Option one. We take the easy way out. It's quick and painless.
Yeah, painless, that's debatable.
I'm not a fan of option one.
Oh, there you go. Riley agrees with you.
Two. We fight.
Fight for what?
Yeah, for what?
What are we fighting for?
We're gonna turn into one of those things.
No, I'm not gonna do that. not the time or place.
There are a million ways we should have died before today. And a million ways we can die before tomorrow.
So this is where Seth
Oh, there you go.
MacFarlane
That's
got
it
the
here.
But
idea
we
from.
fight for every second we get to spend with each other. Whether it's 2 minutes or 2 days.
Now you just gotta
We don't
make
give
sure
that
that
up.
thing doesn't fall out.
Yeah.
I don't want to give that up. My vote? Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
And hey, as zombies, we won't try and eat each other.
What's option 3?
Sorry.
Say sorry. I never heard of that one before.
Little did she know there actually is an option 3.
Well, Ellie didn't know either.
Yeah.
For all she knew at this point, she was gonna die. So.
Though, doesn't this kind of implies that Ellie may have had to have...
Yes, Ellie had to kill Riley.
Yeah.
Oh, how lovely.
That's okay,
Lovely
Shira.
ending to the story.
That's okay. That's okay, Shira. Neil had the tact of not letting you see that because it's pretty. You don't really need to see it. It's pretty.
Oh, no, it's-
Oh, yeah, yeah.
self-explanatory.
This is definitely self-explanatory.
Yeah. So yeah, it's obvious that while Riley, of course, became a zombie because Ellie is immune, and don't worry, we'll get the explanation for why she's immune at the end of the game. Since Ellie is immune, obviously she didn't turn into a zombie, which means, of course, that yeah, she had to kill Riley.
She had to pull an old Yeller.
Yeah. Basically.
Well, like I said at the end of the last part, I knew there'd be a tie-in somewhere. It wasn't the one I'd actually predicted, but yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I really love how they tied in
Mhm.
like what she learned from Riley. She's applying it to saving Joel,
Mhm.
fighting for every moment she can to spend with him.
That,
was
I
great.
believe, brings us to the end of the DLC.
Basic. And now in the next part, we'll get back to like I just Neil Druckmann is such a great character writer. Like his characters are so believable and so well written. Like
Even
it's
the ones you don't get to spend, much time getting to know are all really great.
Yeah.
Agreed.
all right. So let's see you for the next part where we get back to the main campaign, the
Ta-ta.
See
winter
ya.
arc, my personal favorite.
Wait,
Yeah,
were we already in the
Yeah.
winter? Oh, dang it,
Well,
DLC.
well, technically yes, but remember, like
Because
I said,
the DLC fits in the middle of
Like,
the
literally,
ending of the last
that-
chapter and the beginning of the winter.
that thing with Ellie driving away with, well, not driving away, running away with Joel on that thing, that literally leads straight into the winter arc, because the winter arc literally starts right after that.
Right.
So, anyway, see you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.